Greetings, everyone. This is your boy, Sam Orem, coming at you with another episode of the Deep Dive Podcast. I'm super excited today to bring a guest to you that I know is going to really uplift you and empower you as well as entertain you. He is an incredible person, but I'll introduce him shortly. Before we get into that, though, all of you who are listening in, and I do realize that there are people who are listening in from around the world. I always like to say thank you very, very much for tuning in to the Deep Dive Podcast. Please do me a favor, like, subscribe, download, and share. We want to continue to spread our message of empowerment and entertainment throughout the world. And this is a great platform to do that. So certainly help us out in terms of subscribing. We're on all of the podcast platforms as well as live on onevoiceradio.com, which is airing in 172 countries. So we're excited to be able to share with you today with the Deep Dive Podcast. Well, look, guys, I have a special treat for you today with our guest. This is a guy that is absolutely incredible. You know, he's done some things in terms of entertainment, and that's what we talk about all the time. He's done some things in terms of empowerment that we talk about all the time, and he has quickly become one of the most prolific actors, producers, as well as comedians, not just on the West Coast, guys, but throughout the world. As a matter of fact, he is doing some incredible things that you'll get a chance to hear directly from him momentarily about. But I just wanted to give you just a little bit of his background so you'll understand who it is that you're listening to. He actually graduated as an accountant. And then shortly after that, he quit what he called his quote unquote dream job to become a comedian in Southern California. And I'm certainly interested in hearing about that because, you know, that you're talking about really creating your path. Remember, we talked about that on last week, but he has been featured in dozens of television shows, including Grimm, including Criminal Minds, Beyond Borders, The Game of Silence. He's actually has a recurring role on the Emmy-nominated Six, which is actually on the History Channel, and he's also on the pilot of The Walking Dead, The World Beyond. Now, guys, that in itself is incredible, but here's something you definitely want to hear from him about as well. He actually recently released his own short film on YouTube. It's called The Invisible Brown Man. I'm excited about hearing that myself, so I don't want to hold him from you any longer. I certainly want you to be able to give him a international welcome, none other than Mr. Pritesh Shah. Pritesh, how you doing, my brother?
Hey, how's it going, man? That was a heck of an intro, man. I gotta take you around with me everywhere.
Absolutely, man. Well, I tell you what, you deserve it. Your credentials and your resume and what you're doing in the industry, it is second to none. I'm so proud of what you're doing. Excited to just hear about it. And you know, we're so many people are tuning in today, and we talked about in our promotion, you know, the invisible brown man and some of the other things that you're doing. Just kind of share a little bit with us where you've been, and then we'll talk about where you're going.
Yeah, so go back to your thing a little bit you had spoken about. So I graduated degree in accounting and a minor in English.
Okay.
My goal at the time was to be a lawyer.
Mm.
But you know, things could turn. So before I graduated, a year before I graduated, my parents had this astrologer from India come, right?
Okay.
My mom was like, you have to come, you have to see him. I was like, all right, whatever. I'm like, all right, whatever, dude. So
Right.
I come home and this guy literally looks at my chart. I know nothing about any of this, right, at the time. So he looks at my chart and he goes, what are you doing? I'm like, yeah, I'm an accountant. Like, I'm vice president of accounting society. I have a 3.8 GPA. Like, I'm killing the game, right?
Right.
And he's like, yeah, there's no way you'll ever use a degree. Not a chance. And I was
Wow.
like, who the heck is this guy? Like, I was pissed,
Right.
It's my immature mind at that time took that as I'm going to be homeless. Like, it's over for me. That's how I took it, right? So, you know, I remember it's like the only time I cursed at my mom. I went downstairs. I'm like, don't you ever effing have me see these types of people again. Like, I was pissed. Who the hell are you to tell me that, bro? I don't know you.
Right.
And fast forward, I graduated from college. I had 6 months till my job was supposed to start. My mom found this acting class in Orange County. I'm from San Diego.
Mm-hmm.
So in Orange County, so I was driving up once a week because I can't sit at home and do nothing. So I was like, all right, whatever.
Right.
So I'm taking this acting class, and this guy's like, dude, you're really good. Like you you got something. Why don't I have you audition for this agent I know? I'm like, all right. So I auditioned for the agent. They signed me on the spot, and I started booking like non-union commercials, a lot of print jobs and things like that.
Right.
And I was like, dude, this feels right. Like, it feels good. I don't even know what right or wrong was, but it just felt good. I remember getting a physical for the job I was supposed to start.
Mm-hmm.
And these are little angels and whispers you have, right? Because he was doing my physical, and he goes, you don't look excited to start your job. And I'm like, what do you mean? It's a job. He goes, yeah, but most people are excited to start their career, you know, have their first job, and you don't seem excited. Are you sure this is what you want to do?
Right.
I was like, huh, I don't know. And then I remember 2 days before my job was about to start in June. Like, I've been doing this acting, modeling thing for 6 months. And it was 2 days before I was about to start. I was having panic attacks. I'm like crying. I'm freaking out. I wake up in the morning. I'm like, I can't take this job. Like, I can't go. Everything in my heart tells me I can't do this. It's not right. So I remember going downstairs. I tell my mom, I'm like, look, I think I'm going to have to quit this job. Like, I can't. And then my mom was like, yeah, like, I support you. She's like, what's the point of us coming all the way from India to America, living 2 hours away from the entertainment capital of the world? I'm going to tell my son no. Like, what was the point of coming here? And if we wanted you to do the basic things, we could have stayed in India. Like, there's no point of us being here.
That's right.
So she was supportive. My teacher was similar, obviously supportive. And now I'm scared of my dad, right? My dad got paid for my college. He, you know, supported me, all this stuff, right? And I was like, dude, this is not going to be good. So what I did was I called that guru in India. I was like, give me this damn guy's number. So I call him in India, and I'm freaking out, man. I'm in a panic attack. And I'm like, look, a year ago, you told me not to do this. I want to go into entertainment. Like, I need you to validate this. And he goes, yeah, like, everything in your chart's about being an entertainer. Like, you 100% do that. And he's like, that's what I was trying to tell you. You just weren't hearing me at that time.
Right.
And so it was like all full circle. And then I remember calling my father, and I told him. He was dead silent, didn't say a damn thing on the phone. It took him some time, but that's really what instigated me into this world. It was the best decision I ever made. And to be honest, I don't know how that version of me 10 or 11 years ago even had the strength. Like, I think back to that version of me, and it scares me.
Really?
It was like a different power. Yeah, because I went against everything I was raised to do, everything my community told me I'm supposed to be, you know. My parents have no hookups in the entertainment industry. They don't know any producers, directors. I mean, we were close by, but it feels like a different world. You know, everything here I had to do myself. I had to meet everybody myself. So yeah, it was that. Even telling the story, I'm like, man, that guy had balls.
Yeah.
You know? It was just that moment, you know, because we all get whispers, you know, we all get feelings and inklings, but a lot of times we just avoid them, right?
That's right.
Because your soul always speaking the truth to you. You got to be willing to listen.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it sounds like you had a, relatively easy path to get. And I'm saying that from just a listener's perspective, but, I know it couldn't have been as easy as you share. What are some of the challenges that you
get all?
Yeah, what were some of the challenges you dealt with? Because there are a lot of people who are tuning in specifically to hear, about your story, your path. And I don't want them to just think it was, pie in the sky or a cakewalk. Were there any challenges?
Yeah, I mean, it's still not a pie in the sky, right? I mean, it just looks like it is. Like, look, you have to decide what it is. First, you have to decide, what does it even mean to make it or be successful, right? Because those words, like, before we even get to those, the acting itself, we have to redefine what success in making it and all this stuff is. Because usually we equate success to money, fame, social status.
That's right.
Possessions, materialism. Yeah, so like as we're talking about success and so forth, I think the first thing is, especially with the acting industry, and even you, I mean, being a surgeon, writing a book, whatever you're doing, it's people get really into the flashy part of it, what they can see, feel, smell, touch,
Right.
And those things are, you have to be very, very careful. I think it's important to redefine things. I think if you're doing well, there's a lot of people that I say are well accomplished, but aren't necessarily successful.
That makes sense.
I think there's a lot of people that are accomplished, and we mix that for success is, can you take care of yourself? Can you manage all your faculties, right? Can you manage yourself and your own being? and be in a place of like higher consciousness and actually take care of yourself and your community and your family and friends, that's success, right?
Absolutely.
Just because you got a Lamborghini doesn't make you successful, you know? So that's one thing I think is important. And the reason I state that is I think, and I was guilty of this, when you move here, you think you see, I need my own billboard. I want to do this. I want to do that. And like, that's awesome. There's nothing wrong with that either. I'm just saying like, that's not going to be the source of anything.
Right.
Like I got a lot of famous friends. I have a lot of friends that are incredibly wealthy, right? And they're usually the ones that call me are the most miserable.
Wow, really?
Yeah, all the time. They're super sad.
Wow.
Because, and it makes sense, right? It's not even shocking. It's shocking when you haven't thought about it. But when you think about it, it's not shocking at all. The illusion will feed your growth, right?
Right.
You see, I say some of the most materialistic people I know are poor people because they think once they have something, they'll be happy.
That's
and
true.
They won't.
That's true.
They won't. Of course, I'm talking about once your basic needs are taken care of. I'm not pushing that to the side. Like once your basic needs are taken care of, there's this idea, once I get a Nike or I get this car, I get this house, I get this girl, like my life's going to be great. That's not true. And like that illusion will make people work towards that direction. And guess what? Eventually, you may get all those things. You may get all the things you thought were going to solve all the problems in your life. And once you get them and you realize your problems aren't solved, that's a very confusing place to be because it don't make sense. You're like, wait, I don't understand. I got everything I worked so hard for. And I thought that's going to fill this hole I have. And it doesn't. Now, where do you go?
Right.
There is no illusion anymore because every excuse you had in your head, you already got it.
Right.
And you still feel like nothing. So I have many friends in that situation. So I think one thing is to remember, no matter what you're going after, whether it be entertainment or whatever it may be that you decide you want to focus in on in this life, like that's a part of what you do, but it's not who you are.
Not who you are. Exactly.
Yeah. You know what I mean? It's not, it's just funny to me when people walk around with all these identities all the damn time, you know, it's just like just humans having an experience, man. There's nothing more, nothing less, you know?
Especially in this social media environment, it's just all a facade, you know what I mean? And like you said,
smoke and mirrors, nobody's life is like that, and it shouldn't be like that. Like, you know, and we also live in a time where we confuse natural human emotions. Like people don't even, we have a hard time experiencing sadness or being in grief, you know, we think we're depressed. Everyone thinks they're like deeply depressed and they need to take a pill. Like we've forgotten to have the whole human experience of emotions that we're going to feel and that they're all okay and natural. I mean, there's obviously a lot going on that's a lot more important. So to answer your question briefly, when it comes back to like this world, I mean, I had goals and ambitions. I mean, I booked a role on TV 9 months after I moved to LA. I was like, oh, it's over. Like 3 years. You know? That's not how this works, nor should it. You know. So, but my young mind at the time and who I was as an individual then thought it should, and thought that was going to bring me some level of validation or whatever it may be. But now, you know, I've been lucky to be able to work. I'm lucky to make a living through what I do. I mean, I'm very grateful for that. And I have great people in my life. A great writing partner, Dennis Fallon. He's freaking incredible. The real deal. You know, this guy's writing big stuff, big films that people watch. And, you know, he's the one who wrote Invisible Brown Man with me. And, you know, those types of things. I just want to create amazing stories, man, that are real and honest and hopefully trigger people to take a lot more accountability because we live in a time where it's very easy to point fingers at president or politicians or rules or religions, or we live in a constantly blame everything else besides looking in the mirror.
That's true. That's so true.
Anywhere. It doesn't get anywhere. Like how long can you keep using your sex, your gender, your race, your religion, your parents, the divorce, someone cheating on? How long are you going to use all this stuff as an excuse? Like, don't get me wrong, there's truth to a lot of it for sure. We have a lot of work to do. There's no denying that. But like the first thing you got to work on is yourself. And I see that missing. And that was the thing in my film as well, is like you saw me speak the truth of this character's experience in Hollywood, but at the end he's, you know, you see what he says in the last monologue. It's very introspective because you do get what you put out, you know, and it's very easy for us to complain about how other people treat us or our experiences, but we fail to recognize we tend to be doing the same thing to other people, right? But we see it from our own POV, right?
That's so true, man. That's so true. And, you know, we have to take, to your point, we have to have some self accountability. We have to really identify what our purpose is. Why is it that we're doing what we're doing? And you're right. Success is determined by the individuals, not so much as the quote unquote stuff or these things or all these other things. None of that stuff really matters. You really have to become, and I like to say this all the time, but the master of your own fate and the captain of your own soul. You want to be able to do that in terms of whatever your path is or whatever your journey is. And I see that you're passionate about what you're doing and you're going after it. And that's incredible. Tell us a little bit more about, the Invisible Brown Man. How did that concept come about? And, what's it all about?
So my writing partner and I actually started off as a feature film, right? It was an idea I had. I met this writing partner through a director I worked with on a film. And he's like, man, you got a story. You have a story to tell. Are you going to keep just auditioning and waiting other people to give you the green light?
Right.
Or are you going to just do your own thing? I was like, I don't know. Okay. So he's like, I know this writer, go meet him. So we have this meeting at this coffee shop and I turn the corner and I see him. I'm like, get the hell out of here. Like, like I was like, there's no way, right? That was my own judgments, right? Because this guy looked like Duck Dynasty.
Right.
Like, what? And I sit down with this man and this guy's literally, I would say, it wouldn't be far-fetched to call him a genius, to be honest.
Okay.
From Mensa, like just incredibly intelligent, well-read, high EQ too. I don't just really care about people's IQ, high EQ. And, he understood things at a deep level. And I was telling him my story and what I really wanted to talk about, but bring it in a comedic way. And, we just hit it off. So we initially wrote a feature film about these characters going through this journey and balancing life, family, yada, yada. So we're going through these feature film competitions and we're doing pretty well.
Mm-hmm.
And because of him and I get invited to MGM, well, there's like 100 writers and they're with like the CEO and all the high ups at MGM, which was great.
Right.
And we're sitting there and man, it's hard for me I don't kiss ass, man. Like after the whole thing, everyone's going up to all the speakers like, hi, can I get your number? Can I get your email? No judgment, do you, but that doesn't feel authentic to me.
Right.
So I'm just leaving, being myself. One of my close girlfriends is there. So I'm just shooting the shit with her, making fun of her, having fun. She's laughing. And I hear a guy laughing behind us.
Mm-hmm.
And it turns out it's the CEO of MGM, right?
Oh, wow. Okay.
And he just thought he was over eavesdropping on our conversation. He was just laughing. He thought I was funny. So naturally, that allowed us to have a real conversation. I told him about my idea. And I said, yeah, I got invited here because of my film. And, I talk about male objectification, stereotypes, tradition. And he stopped me. He goes, excuse me, male objectification? I go, yeah, absolutely. I'm like, I've been objectified a lot in this business. I'm like, right. Objectification doesn't have to do with your sex. People objectify people, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And it just caught his attention. So he's like, you know what? I want you to make a short. I want you to send it to me personally. So it was like, ding, 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 ding.
Right.
I do this. But then you got to think again, shorts are they're not cheap. Shorts cost money, right? It might be a short, but it's still.
The money is long.
Yeah, exactly. So I was like, oh, man, how am I going to get this money? It just works out, man. The universe takes care of you when the time's right? So I had this guy reach out to me from Australia. I hadn't seen him in like 15 years, studied abroad with him. Mm-hmm. We kept in touch like once a year, twice a year, like acquaintance friends, nothing more than that.
Right.
And he's coming to LA and then I was like, yeah, let's link up. And then he hits me up. He's like, yo, I bought 10 tickets to your comedy show. We're coming out to see your show. I'm like, awesome, man, let's do this. So we hang out and realize we've changed. Both of us have transformed our lives a lot. So I was like, let's get coffee, man. Let's really catch up. Mm-hmm. He tells me his story. He tells me he's a corporate lawyer. He left everything. He did some mushrooms.
Okay.
He realized he was wasting his life. He sold everything he owned, took his money, invested, and now he's just making money and investing in helping in hemp farms and yada, yada, doing his thing. So I'm telling him my own spiritual journey and how I want to use my art to really empower and make people really look at themselves and take control of themselves from a spiritual perspective.
Right.
And I was like, yeah, so I need to put this business plan together and make this short film because, I met this guy, I need to do it. Literally over coffee, he just goes, how much you need? I told him and he gave it to me.
Wow.
So, life works in interesting ways if you're open, right? There's this guy always said, like, the less identities you take on, like, the less things you are, the more things you receive.
Say that again. That's deep.
The less things you are,
right,
the more things you receive. And what I mean less things you are is all these identities.
That's
what
right.
ethnicity you are, what race you are, where you're from, all these things that hold us back, these storylines we tell ourselves, right?
Yep.
Like, and we just constrict our life, you know, like I'm this, I'm that, this is my sexuality, this is who I grew up with, this is what I like, and just your
create
life,
this whole narrative. Yeah.
all this narrative in the head, dude. You're just a piece of life, and you happen to be human. That's it. That's it.
Yeah.
Everything else is just a storyline. And so, and once I started realizing that, my life expanded a lot. You know, magic constantly appears into my life, man. I'll get money out of nowhere. I'll meet resources out of nowhere. You know, you have to push less, right? People are constricted, and then they push a lot. And we really have kind of sold people this idea that you have to work hard. And I'm not saying you don't work, but we have really glamorized this idea of being miserable and sacrificing. And like, we revere those stories. You know, this single mom worked 4 jobs. Well, shit. What type of society do we live in when someone has to do that? That's not that's not cool. Like, no one gets rich working more jobs. No one became Bill Gates because he worked 8 jobs. Like, if you worked 2 jobs or 4 jobs, you still probably broke. Right? You're just a little less broke.
Right.
Because the reality is, doesn't matter how many jobs you have. There's only so many hours in a week. So you're limited by that. So if you make your minimum wage working 2 jobs or 3 jobs or 4 jobs, you still ain't doing well. Right. Yeah. So we have to think, and that's a societal issue, because I don't think anyone should have to live like that. Okay. And I say that. I'm not trying to down talk people that have done that, because I understand what their intentions was. Right. My idea is that also doesn't need to be glamorized, because that's not healthy. That's not true. Right. And also this idea that I mean, it's interesting when people, I have friends like this, man, you know, I'm in Hollywood world, so it's all smoke and mirrors. Okay. It's all like, everyone kind of knows. Some people don't know it. The people that know it. And then I'm in the world, so I see it, you know, like I've been with my friends who are famous, and we go out to eat, and people asking me to take photographs with them, not knowing that I'm paying for lunch because this fool ain't got a dime in the bank. You know what I mean? Like, it's things like that.
All
like
smoke and mirrors.
It's all smoke and mirrors. You know, this idea that, you know, every actor, if you see someone on TV super rich, they're not. They're really not. Think about it. Like, I have friends who are making, let's say, $25,000 an episode, right? Which is good money. That's great. Awesome. But if you do 10 episodes, that's 250 G's before taxes, before your lawyer, before your agency. You're a smart man. 250 in your pocket, maybe 125.
That's right. Maybe.
Now what you doing in LA with $125,000?
Right. Living in poverty.
Dude, a condo is $1 million.
Exactly.
So you can't even buy that. So what I'm trying to tell people is like, that's the smoke and mirrors part. Just because you see someone, or you see, it's not what you see. You know, what's been glamorized in my business is all these A-list stars and super rich producers and execs. And that's the lifestyle people think an average person in the business is living, and that's not true. And I'm not saying you have to. You can be in this business. The idea is, if you want to live in a 1-bedroom apartment by yourself and live your life and you're happy, then do it. You don't need to have more. That's not for everybody, and you don't need to. There's nothing wrong with that.
Right.
If you want to live a simple life, awesome.
Yeah. No, I get it. That makes 100% sense. You know what? One of the things that I recognize about you, just, you know, hearing your journey and knowing what you've gone through, is you have mastered the art of the law of attraction. And what I mean by that, you're creating your future just by the laws of attraction. You know, energy is real. It is a thing. You know, being able to attract things in your life, it is real. When you're talking about having a conversation and the CEO of MGM just happened to be there, that's the law of attraction. You know, having a conversation with someone about, you know, financing or investing in your project, and the question becomes, how much do you need? That's the law of attraction. And what creates that attraction is you, first of all, being confident in what you're doing, but also being competent. And I'm sharing that with everybody because when you're looking to do some of the things that Pritesh is doing, you have to be able to understand that it's going to start with you. Everybody's story is unique. Everybody's story and situation is different, but one common denominator is having the confidence in yourself and having the capacity to do the things that you seek to do. We talk about capacity all the time here on the Deep Dive podcast. That just means your growth and how you're going to do that. Once you have done that, once you've done the work and laid the groundwork, then the laws of attraction can take place. And these things do come into your life, seemingly out of nowhere, but you have created your future. And we talk about that a lot. So congratulations to you on that.
Thank you. Because what I've learned is you don't get what you want.
Mm-hmm.
You get what you are.
You get what you are. Yep.
Right. So, I mean, everyone has desires. Everyone has things. There's nothing wrong with that.
Right.
The thing is, like, one, understand that what you desire may be an experience, but it's not who you are.
Mm-hmm.
It's an experience. So, like I said, if you want, look, I'm a car fanatic. I love cars.
Right.
When I can get a Ferrari, I'll probably get one. But it's not for anybody else.
Right.
I just enjoy it. But I also know it's a toy. I'm happy with what I got now.
Yeah.
So when I got that, it'll be cool. Look, I have friends who have it, and they actually will be a lot less materialistic than you expect. I have a buddy who has a Ferrari. You took the Ferrari away from him, he'd be like,
no big deal.
I mean, it was fun, whatever. You know what I mean? So
yeah,
it's not owned by the possession.
That's true.
And that takes work. And if you're lucky enough to be in a position where you understand that before you even get it, then you can do a lot of great stuff with those resources.
Yeah.
Right? If you know it's not who you are, you can do a lot to not only take care of yourself and enjoy your life, but really help people. Right. And that's all money is it's a resource. That's it.
Exactly. To be able to help others. Yeah.
It's
Absolutely.
Just a resource, just like food, water, material. It is just a resource.
Right.
Unfortunately, there's too many songs about showing off how much money you have. There's too many songs about how money's going to objectify women and objectify yourself pretty much, right? So,
well, you said it earlier, how we create these narratives, and we have created a narrative around money, that this is what it is and this is what it does. And, we both know that's not the case.
But they have to, because society doesn't want, right? Powers that be don't want you to know that.
Mm-hmm.
If I don't make you obsessed with money, how the hell am I going to get you not to work for $15 an hour like a slave?
Right. Now you're talking.
How can I convince you? I have to convince you college is necessary, which it's not.
Right.
It's useless unless you're going to be like what you did, a neurosurgeon, or specific things where you need higher education.
Right.
Kids are going to school, getting drunk, partying, having sex, going to clubs, studying 5 hours a week, and then coming out $250,000 in debt. And you want me to tell me, you're trying to tell me I need to tell my kids when I have them that's the best thing they need to be doing with life? You learn life by living it, not being in a dorm necessarily where you're just, trying to get your rocks off. Like, it's like what a scam that's turned into, So like, and of course college is a corporation. They need to make money. And
absolutely.
And the idea is this idea that just because someone's attending college, they have more intelligence is absolutely untrue. But that's the formula we've used where corporations go to them to recruit and hire, yada, yada. So it's just like, you pay to be in middle class. That's how, like, you know what I mean? I mean, Bill Maher, I'm taking a lot of this from Bill Maher's new rules that he put out, but like, it's basically an entry fee to be in the middle class. It's really what it is.
Yeah.
The entry fee is outrageous. It's almost stupid. I mean, I have friends who are in more student debt than the mortgage I have on my condo. That's insane.
Great. It is.
People, and the way we raise people is that we've made them feel as if student debt's not a big deal.
Yeah.
Like if someone has $10,000 in credit card debt, you're like, all right, man, like make sure you pay that off. It's not terrible or whatever. Yeah. If someone had $250,000 in credit card debt, you'd be like, yo, what the? No, that's cool. But if someone comes to you right now and be like, yeah, I'm $300,000 in student loans, you'd be like, oh, cool, it's college. It's cool.
Yeah, that's crazy though. That's crazy.
Like, you do know you're gonna pay this off. Like,
right.
Yeah, it's a racket. And it's like, student loan forgiveness, but it's a corporation. And it's like, okay, we got to figure out, like, not just to get free education. We need to figure out a way where, why do we need to go to some institution to learn? Like most things you learn by doing.
Yeah.
And you can make it way less. To trap people in school for 10 years, 15 years to be a doctor, like it's a serious thing. But a lot of it, hey, I'm Indian, so we got a lot of friends that are doctors. A lot of my friends are doctors.
Yep.
Even they would tell you, we could probably shave 3 years off this. We could probably
Right.
shave 3 years off this. This is getting
Right.
a little ridiculous.
Right, right. Yeah, you're absolutely right, man. I graduated with multiple degrees and a lot of debt, and I'm not even in the field. I'm doing other things right now. I'm an entrepreneur, and all of the things that I went to college for, I'm not even pursuing.
Well, I mean,
So,
they tell you it's normal to go to college, and
yeah,
you're literally paying freshman year to figure out what you want to do. That's
that's
insane.
right.
You mean
Yeah.
I'm paying to figure things out?
Yep, that's right. That's
Right.
so
I know
true,
I
bro.
sound like I'm super anti-college. I'm not anti-college per se. I'm not anti anything really, but I'm
Right,
trying to say we have a system right now that's not really helping. It's hurting. It's limiting. And college would be beneficial if you're going to be like a rocket scientist. If you're going
right.
to be a neurosurgeon, like there's certain things where it is incredibly
Trade
important.
specific,
Trade specific, you need a lot of competence, you
Yep.
need a lot of focus, and we want the best people to be at those jobs because people's lives are at hand here, right? So
Right.
it's very different. So I understand that, but when you have people going to school, like people ask me, should I go to school UCLA to be an actor? My answer is no.
Right.
No. Why?
Right. Yeah.
Why would you want to pay $150,000 to go to UCLA to go, like, or any institution? Nothing against UCLA, but for acting,
Yeah.
you could go take an acting class with a great teacher here for $400 a month.
Right. That's true.
And then you can actually practice and make short films and go to auditions. Like, why do you need a degree? Like, just like we overvalue a piece of paper that has a 5 on it and we call it $5, we
Hmm.
overvalue this piece of paper that we call a diploma. I
Yeah.
mean, we overvalue it.
Man, that is so true. That that is so true.
Just
I
like we
think,
overvalue the Oscars, we overvalue everything that people think is some form of validation.
yeah, I think that's the key. I think you just hit on the key. People need some type of validation, and whatever these things are that they, desire or think they need to have, whether it's the cars or the money or the this or the that or the dust, it is to give them self-validation. But in essence, what it is they truly don't have a purpose in life. So they're looking for a purpose through validation with other things. And it just doesn't happen that way. It's not like that. It's not real life. Like you
Yeah, I
said,
mean,
I'm not bashing, education, but it is what it is.
yeah, well, my thing is like, I don't really consider it education. That's why I don't want to
Mhm.
bash education. Like, what is education? I
Or
mean,
the educational system.
our whole
Yeah.
yeah, our whole system is we've convinced people education is what you can memorize and regurgitate.
Right. Yeah.
How is that education? It's
Yeah.
it's not to question, to think, to be creative, to expand, to come up with something new, to to be formulative and actually have ideas and how to conceptualize them and have discussions and disagree with people and grow. Like it's really just been like, are you a good test taker? Right?
Hmm. Hmm.
And things like that. And so it's like, dude, I mean, I went to school for accounting. I could go watch 5 YouTube. I could watch literally videos on YouTube,
Right.
and I can learn everything I need to know about
Everything
accounting
you need to know.
for free.
Yeah. Yeah.
For free. Like, you want to learn how to change oil in your car? There's a video.
Yeah. True.
You can do it.
Absolutely.
You can
Yeah.
do anything you want. Like, I fix stuff on my car watching videos on YouTube. Like, so I can't figure something out on my phone, I go
Uh-huh.
on YouTube. I'm like,
Yep.
why is this? How do I change this setting? Or how do I edit this video?
Right.
And YouTube has a thing. So it's like, it's amazing. Our education is constantly evolving, and we get to learn from other people that may know something we don't know, which is
Right.
amazing. I mean, that's the point of life, is being able to exchange information with fellow human beings, right?
Yeah. Absolutely. Man, that is incredible, bro. I could talk to you all day and all night. You're a wealth of knowledge and energy and excitement. Before we close out, just kind of give us a little brief glimpse of what the future holds for you, and how we can continue to follow your career.
Well, I mean, right now, make sure you check out Invisible Brown Man if you haven't. Based on that, my writing partner Dennis Fallon and we've created a pitch deck already for a TV show.
Hmm.
We all really see it as a TV series. So we're using that we're pitching that right now, just in the early stages right now with executives and so forth. So I'm excited about that. Obviously, I'm still auditioning and I have a commercial that should be coming out, yada, yada, doing the thing.
Right.
And yeah, you can follow all my stuff or on IMDb, but you can follow me on all the socials at the Pritesh Shah.
Okay.
And whether that's Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, check it out. And yeah, man, that's why I'm just living, man, trying to expand,
I tell you what, brother, you're doing it the right way. You know, your energy is contagious. You're excited about what you're doing. And, I love that. I love that free spirit. And that's what's really going to take you to whatever heights you so desire. So I certainly appreciate your time and, just sharing with the Deep Dive Podcast audience. There's a lot of information. I'm encouraging everybody to go back and, take a look or take a listen at this podcast again, because there's a lot of information there, even beyond, acting and comedy and things of that nature. There are a lot of life lessons in this podcast. So, Pritesh, my man, I thank you so much. Is it any last words you'd like to share with everybody before we get off?
Yeah, look in the mirror and realize everything you use to describe yourself, you're not that.
Wow. Okay. I'm gonna definitely follow that. So, hey, I tell you what, man, thank you so much again. Continued success. We wish you all the best in what you're doing. We certainly want to continue to follow you. Everybody, if you haven't already, make sure you check out The Invisible Brown Man. It's on YouTube. Follow his career, as he said, the Pritesh Shah. Is it .com or at Pritesh Shah, right?
Just at the Pritesh Shah.
At the Pritesh.
All my Instagram and Twitter and all the handles. Yeah.
Okay. So make sure you follow, and the same thing with our podcast, guys. Continue to follow, like, subscribe and download. We've had some incredible numbers over the last several weeks, and we're looking to break some records going into 2022. So continue to support. Again, thank you so much, my brother. I'm looking forward to continued success for you. If there's anything that we can do for you here on the Deep Dive Podcast, please don't hesitate to ask. And with that, everybody, thank you for tuning in. God bless, and we'll see you on the beaches of the world.
All right, brother. Take care.
Take care.